In Australia, we have a small but quite vocal community of people who are vaccine sceptics or anti-vaccination advocates. And we also have a much larger group of people who have questions or concerns or hesitation about using vaccines in general or about the COVID-19 vaccines in particular. So let's take a careful look at some of the vaccine misinformation out there and some of the questions and concerns that people have been expressing. Some people think that the vaccines contain a microchip that will be injected into you and then track you. In fact, that sounds totally crazy, but originally it was a misunderstanding of a small device attached to the outside of a syringe meant to track a vaccine batch and wouldn't have been injected into you at all. There is some misinformation that the COVID vaccine might alter your body's DNA. But actually, these vaccines only use messenger RNA, which utilises the outside of the cell wall. Your DNA is protected by a strong membrane, and the vaccines have no access to your DNA whatsoever. This is not true. In fact, some vaccines were developed using a cell line that came originally from a fetus aborted in 1972. But in 2005, the Vatican issued a formal statement that said explicitly that the moral good of vaccination vastly outweighs any moral harm of using vaccines that utilize cell lines coming originally from fetuses aborted more than 40 years ago. Some people don't trust the COVID vaccine because they figure it's just a money spinner for big pharma and for governments and doctors. But historically, it's easy to see that vaccines have just never been big money spinners. They cost a lot to develop and the risks are high, and meanwhile, poor countries need large supplies but can't pay prices above anything that barely covers the costs of manufacture. Major manufacturers such as Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca have pledged that the prices they charge will only just recover the costs they've invested in research and development. We know that being young, fit and healthy not only doesn't protect you from COVID-19, but many such people have been seriously ill or died from the disease. There's no evidence that the immune response from exposure to the disease is any stronger or longer lasting than the immune response you get from a vaccine. Vaccines really are just another form of natural immunity. They use your own body's natural immune response to protect you from exposure to and dying from this disease.